Hey y'all, so sorry it's been so long since I've updated you on the bus. We are making some progress with it. Done a lot of maintenance work and just like changing out some lights and stuff on it. So we're gonna do a walk around of the bus and I'll let you know everything that we've done, what we got to do left. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. All right, so I did take off the rear bumper. I'm gonna paint it. I took off the rear bumper, one, because the trailer hitch that we're gonna be using to pull my trailer only had like 2 bolts in it and they weren't the greatest bolts. So I did add a third set of bolts. So we got 3 on this side, 3 on this side, just to help keep that on. And then I also did some underbody coating under here just to protect against the rust. I know there's already some rust, but yeah, it'll help protect it. And then I'm going to paint the bumper as well. So we have to do that still. What else? So we got my tail lights. I had to make this panel. I used a plasma cutter on this and we got it plasma cut. I'm not the greatest plasma cutter, but yeah, I did what I could. So I cut it out of just sheet metal and this is what it looked like. So originally you have like these big holes behind here and I didn't want to get like these same type of lights because I think they look kind of goofy and looks like a school bus. So we got just a plasma cutted panel that I cut out and I put these LED strip lights, which these don't look the greatest either, but it is what it is. And then these are the round circle backup lights. So we will, when you put it in reverse, obviously that lights up. And this is my tail light for my license plate. I will need to get another light for it. I have like a little tiny light so I'm going to seal that up, put the tiny little LED light shining down so they can see my license plate, and I'm going to cut this and cap it, and then reverse light. These are your brake lights and turn signals, and then up there those are your markers for like if you were to actually drive it as a school bus. When you're letting out the kids, they flash. So we're gonna get rid of those. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I originally wanted to do like some off-road lights, so when we do go down off-roads, I can see, or when I'm loading my trailer, I could turn them on and be able to see as well. But yeah, we are still working on a solution for those big holes. And then I got these LED lights up here. They are, when I originally put them on, I was super stoked because I got it all done, and it said they were waterproof. Well, it turns out they were not waterproof and they ended up having water all in them. So I did go back and silicone them, and look, like that one's probably still got freaking water in it. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board to see what I need to do to either replace the lights with different ones. I actually got those off Temu, so I probably should have not Temu'd it and spent a little bit more money and got some from Amazon or something. But yeah, so they are leaking, it looks like still, but hopefully I siliconed the rest of them. Well, in that one I siliconed, but hopefully I can re-silicone it and fix it. But yeah, the other marker lights were like breaking and they just did not look good. They were, what's a 1999, so they were literally deteriorating. But yeah, so I'm gonna do for the taillights, I'm gonna do the same concept on that. I got the panel already cut, I just gotta wire it in. And then obviously we're gonna, once I get the lights and make sure everything runs good, I do want to go and sand it down and give it a good fresh paint. And then we did do some other work. So mechanic wise, I had to actually pull this tire off, and the reason for that is because I ended up cleaning all underneath the bus, and when I cleaned it, I didn't allow for the water to dissipate within the brakes, so the brake actually got seized to the drum, and so it was a nightmare. I had to I literally did everything I could to try to get it loose, couldn't, so I finally ended up taking the entire tire off, and that was a massive process. But it got the tire off, I was able to free it up, and I cleaned all under there. So we'll take a peek here of what it looks like. And then I also did the shocks, but we'll get to that here in just a second. So yeah, that brake right there, that brake pad, was seized to the drum, and so yeah, I had to take it all apart. I did clean it all, and it looks real nice now. But we got it unseized. I sprayed like everything down with lubrication and whatnot, not the actual brake itself, but everything else, all the moving parts. And then I got some new shocks. I put these on recently, and so hopefully that will help with the bounce. But yeah, so that's just some of the stuff we've done. New shocks on the front and the back. All right. So one thing, and I'm sure people that work on buses know this, but I did not. So this L means that it's not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey like normal. This is lefty-tighty, righty-loosey, which is the opposite. So when I was trying to freaking take this thing off, I was tightening it down and could not figure out why it would not come off. Well, finally, after research and everything, and I found out that this is, you loosen it basically to tighten it down, and you righty-tighty to get it to loosen. And then on the other side of the bus, it has an R, which means that righty-tighty is right and lefty is loosey versus this side. So I think the concept behind that is if the bus is moving forward, when you come to a stop, the initial reaction for that bolt is to go forward motion. And with the other side, same concept. If you're going that way, on the right side, passenger side, it would tighten itself. But that's just a thought. I don't know if that's like real, but that's what I thought in my head when I saw that it wasn't coming off and that the righty was letting it loosen up. So anyways, yeah, we have, let's see what else. I did patch up some of these holes. I didn't do the greatest job. We'll have to go back and do some sanding, but there were big holes here for the stop sign. We got that filled in, and then so when I go to paint it, it'll be a little bit easier after I do the sanding. I still got to get all the numbers off, so yeah, that's gonna be another project in itself. I've went through a lot of these wires here, so I know it still looks like a mess, but I've gone through quite a bit of the wires and yanked out a ton of stuff so far. Yeah, we just got to keep plucking along at it to get it weeded down, because a lot of these wires we don't use anymore, and so there's no reason to have them. Like that whole child thing reminder, I can remove that entirely. And so yeah, we'll go through and end up pulling out everything I do not need. All right, so we got the shocks on the front too. Oh, there's your shocks. You can't really see them. They end up being yellow on the front. Same brand, but I don't know why this particular part number, the two in the front, ended up being yellow. New air filter. So these will be the turn signals in the front. I got this one right here, this little guy. It used to be the big massive turn signal, and so I'm going to use these. Put new lines, hoses, painted all of the windshield wipers. I did the LEDs up there, and then I'm about to do the light still there, and I painted the little trim around the light, and I got new headlights that will go in there. So they're halos, those look cool. And then for those lights in the front, I do have halo headlights, like off-road lights, that I will be putting there that I've already bought. So that's the plan for up top. But yeah, as far as, oh, there's another hole that I had to fill in. Yeah, I'm not the greatest bondoer, that's for sure, but I do need to sand it down, paint it, and it should look decent. I'm thinking about taking these two doors, basically to seal out the middle, putting them together, welding it down the middle, and then taking these hinges off. And I've seen other people do a latch to where obviously it would be like a normal door handle, and the door would open all the way up. So you're basically welding these two doors together and then having it as like a normal door opening. And this will go away. It would just be on the hinges on this side. I did get the rubber flooring up here. So we got that flooring up. I need to go ahead and clean it all up with like a wire brush, and then I'll paint it. I've seen people do like the sticky type backslash looking stuff on this, which looks really cool, and it's a cheap way to do it. So we may do that, and then some type of matting for the steps, but we'll see. The other ones were just really like gross and old, and so yeah. The next thing is I have been working on cleaning up the floor a little bit. So we started up here. I gotta try to treat the floor because there are some rough spots, but we are using this little grinder here with wire brush. Works pretty well. I got that off Amazon. It takes my DeWalt batteries, which is awesome. And yeah, it's got 4 speeds, which is really cool because you don't have to slow, like you can slow it down, and so it doesn't break your arm when you hit like a bolt or something. But yeah, so that's what we've done so far, cleaning it up. I still got to go the rest of the way. I probably don't need to do this because the floor is going to be covered, but I do want to make sure the floor is treated and the rust is not there, and that we don't end up falling through the floor. But yeah, this is what we've worked on so far. I know it's not a lot. I wish I had more to update you with. But yeah, this is just the progress that we're making slowly but surely. These guys will be coming out. I'm going to put use some of the metal panels that were taken off of the roof and actually patch the holes, and then we'll do shiplap on this underside after we spray foam the inside. But anyways, so yeah, we have a ton of work to do. The wires I'm still working on getting basically sorted through, pulling out the ones that we don't need. That's kind of tedious, so we gotta get that done. And then the CD player, it works. I just need to get it all put back in. But that was a lot of like fishing through, tracing wire, see what we need. I do have a leak in the front somewhere, so like water keeps getting down in there, and it's gonna end up rusting out. So I have to figure out where the leak's coming in at and get it patched up. The other thing is, so I went to go drive it the other day, and I had no power steering. So like my power steering was pretty much not working. And so it's kind of one of those things where I feel like every time I get in it, I'm like, oh, something else. But yeah, the power steering wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, I could figure out why. I actually checked the power steering fluid. It was the first thing I did, and I realized that the power steering fluid was completely dry, and it was because of the leaky lines. So I ended up getting some new hydraulic lines, is what they take. And normal places don't have these hydraulic lines. Like I went to Napa, I went to like a ton of different auto parts store, and nobody had them. And so I ended up going to a place in Pensacola, Florida that had them. They were hydraulic lines that they made for me, and they had the 90. So the 90 has to be done. You have to have the 90 for this because the power steering line pump thing, whatever, is right there. And so you have no room. It like backs up to the framing and the flooring of the bus. And so you have to have that 90, and that's what I kept running into everywhere else. Could make it for me, but they didn't have the 90s in stock, or they couldn't order them or whatever. But yeah, so I got that all installed, and it runs and drives and turns great now. And then the second thing is I went to replace my fuel filter, and the fuel filter is right here. So this guy, well, and there's that new line that you can kind of see, the blue one. It's the brand new line that they made for me. So it goes up and down to that pump. But yeah, so this is the fuel filter. Well, there's a little bleeder valve, this guy. And what that does is that is to drain all of your fuel out, and so you can replace the filter. Well, when I did that, the seals on it were so old and rotten that it just would not seal. So I was just literally sitting there leaking out all of my diesel and could not build up no pressure to get the engine to start. So I ended up pulling this little guy out, which you can see there's 4 little screws. And so I ended up pulling it out and got new little gaskets on Amazon for just a couple dollars, and put them all in. And then I basically primed it, like pulled it open and closed, kind of lube it up once the seals were back in, and it works great now. So I don't have any leaking, and I was able to build up pressure, and it fired right up. So yeah, that's just little things like that that you don't think about when you buy. I mean, I guess maybe normal people think about it, but I don't when you buy something old. And so I'm just learning as I go. But yeah, it's got a lot of stuff that's new on it, and a lot of stuff that's still used in the old. But I did replace this headlight switch. So it was kind of going out when I'd hit a bump. It would turn on and off basically the headlights. So not very safe at all, just because it had worn out. And so I did replace that. This thing right here. I need to get some new a new gauge speedometer, because for some reason the speedometer is not working. Yeah, I've looked into like the magnet sensor and a bunch of other stuff to try to figure out what could cause it, but I think I'm just gonna run with like a GPS speedometer for now, just as like a backup, and I'll try to work on like the original speedometer later. Yeah, that's what we got going on. I will turn on the headlight or the tail lights and side lights and stuff so you can see them. All right. So there's one of the side lights. You can see that. I don't have those wired up yet. So those are doing that because they're flashers. And normally if I turn the turn signal on, I'll actually go all the way across. There's the other one. Has water in it. You got your midway point, yellow. Those aren't wired up yet. So I got them installed. I just don't have them actually wired in or grounded. So I need to do it still. But yeah, it's just a lot of work. And like I said, time consuming, but we'll get there eventually. And I'll continue to update y'all. And I'm sorry, haven't updated you more frequently. And I'll definitely try to do a better job at that. But last thing I did want to show you is blinker. There we go. So that's the blinker, and then we have the reverse lights. So that's what the reverse lights look like. But I really appreciate y'all sticking through it with me. If you have questions, definitely leave them in the comments, and if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And then yeah, if you have any suggestions for me, definitely leave those in the comments as well. All right, y'all, thanks again for watching, and hope y'all have a great day.